Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Monday. It's very, very warm. And it's the Plastic Crack Podcast. Season 6, episode 26. Although I think we've got 2 of the same episode. But anyway, never mind. It's fine. We'll get there in the end.
Probably more than that.
Well done.
Yeah, it's going to be more than that.
Yeah, I'm sure we are. Anyway, doesn't matter. It is what it is. Welcome, everybody, to all the fun and games. Really pleased you can join us tonight. So it's a bit unseasonably warm again here, although it's just chucked it down with rain. So hopefully that will help. And we have Martin back from his hollies. You have a nice time, mate?
Yes. I had a lovely time. I visited 2 castles. Nice. One of which in the extreme wind and rain, my daughter nearly took off with an umbrella. That was Kenilworth. That was I'd only ever, that was the only visit there that I'd done. So that was quite interesting. Although essentially the entire castle is just Dudley's desperate attempts to get Elizabeth into bed. That's all that castle is now, essentially. I was going around. I was the thing I was most impressed by was in the cafe. They got 3 trebuchet balls from the siege after Simon de Mont, after the Disinherited took the castle. So I was there looking at these, so everyone else was looking at sort of like the Elizabeth exhibit and all that kind of stuff. And then just lots of time in the Peak District, lots of rocks, lots of pubs. Well, I'll say lots of pubs, lots of trips to the same pub. Went to Peveril Castle because you kind of got to. Although I had a very, very interesting chat with the sort of like the warden there, who was telling me that the only time it ever came close to a siege, King John rocked up at the bottom of it, and the people in the castle just went, "Oh, we can't be bothered," and surrendered. Even though it's probably the most defensible castle I've seen, because you just look at that hill and go, "Nah, just nah, we'll go round." That's cool. Went to a water park. Went to Gulliver's Kingdom. First time since I was about 8 years old. Kids enjoyed that. I'm not very good on roller coasters or anything like that. I'm not a fan.
No, normally.
No, me neither.
I like, so this one, which is designed for sort of 10-year-olds, it was fine by me, but I've discovered that my daughter, Tessa, my eldest, she's a bit of an adrenaline junkie. So she was laughing her head off, making me go on the and so she's going to be taken after her mother, I think. So but it was good. Good drive home. Popped into Boards and Swords on the way. Bought 3 paints. Didn't see anyone left. That was fine. It was good. I got some painting done. Yeah, it was nice. How have you guys been? Have you had a good week?
Yeah, for me, I've had a great week. Actually, it's been good, really good. Usual, really. But my youngest daughter came round last night and stayed for the night, which was nice. We didn't see her very often since she moved out, so that was nice. They went off to the cinema to see Jurassic World, all the fantasy dragons, dinosaurs. I stayed because I was working. Boo, for once. But yeah, all very good. Yeah, all very good indeed. Let me see. We haven't done any weather forecast, have we? Well, before we get going, we're going to talk about terrain today. So I thought it was just a fun thing to do. So my idea was around kind of bits of terrain that you almost always find yourself reaching for the table. You know, for some reason, that hill or that wood or that whatever it is always is in every battle you do. That kind of thing. But I think looking at some of the comments on the Facebook post, it's sort of widened out a bit more to sort of things people like to do. So yeah, we'll see where it goes with terrain. But I think that should be fun. Also, thanks to everybody watching on Catch Up. You thought I'd missed it. I didn't. I remembered. Really appreciate that. And also thanks to everyone listening on Spotify.
Yay!
Down below.
Yay.
Also, all the links to our pages, our YouTube channels, and also to the Facebook page is down below. So check it out if you're not already following us and joining the Facebook page. We're about 1,700 people on there now, aren't we? Something like that.
Something like that.
You're getting up there, yeah. It's getting, I shall tell you. I can tell you an exact figure.
Wow.
It is. It says 1,800 currently, but
blimey. Do you remember back in the day we used to do a celebration at every 100?
We did, yeah.
That seems years ago now.
I tried to find like some kind of equivalent battle or something happened, and then I gave up because basically we knew at some point we were going to get to 300. And I was like, yay!
That was all you were waiting for, was the 300.
300.
It was.
And then after that, when it was on, like pretty much. And then after that, it was like, oh shit! Now we're on 1,300. I'll have to go searching. And it's what was really hard was actually finding something that we could actually put up that didn't have some kind of like horrific atrocity attached to it. That was the hardest. It's like we don't really want to be writing about that.
David wants to know: did you visit Mam Tor while you were in Castleton?
And not this time. I've been up there before though. In the snow, which was an experience, and without children. I wouldn't want to go up there with my 5-year-old and my 9-year-old. I think they would probably end each other or me. The Mam Tor, but you can see Mam Tor from Peveril Castle. So no, I didn't go up there, but I have, and it's lovely. And if anyone has a chance, they should go up there. It's very cool. I tried to add a picture from my holiday, and it won't. StreamYard's not letting me do it for some reason. But it was I'm going to see if I might email it to you, Dom, and see if you can post this, because we went to Gulliver's Kingdom, and we saw this. Went in the old McDonald exhibit kind of ride, and then I'm just going to send it to you because all I could think about was Steve.
Oh God!
Good. I want to see this.
This is going to be horrific, isn't it?
No, talk about weird shit. I'll bung this over to you. And
what I was hoping was, because you went on the windiest day of the year so far, didn't you? It was like everyone was saying, "Don't go anywhere," and you're going to the bloody Peak District, which is pretty windy.
Yeah, we're walking around Kenilworth Castle. Yeah,
it's blown away.
Going up Leicester's Tower. I was in Leicester's Tower, and the wind was howling through the old chimneys and that. My daughter was saying, "Why is it making that noise?" I was like, don't worry. This survived the parliamentarians slighting it. It's not going to blow down in English weather.
Won't fall down now.
I've just sent you that email, Dom. I'm curious if you upload that, because all I could think, genuinely, I was like, if that was a model, Steve would be painting it. And that. I mean, it's just old McDonald's cat. It's just his black and white cat, but the model's the big.
I'm going to pull it up now. Look, where is it? There it is.
Have you got it?
Oh my God!
I've seen this thing. My daughter was scared. My daughter was scared of this.
And we thought that old lady was scary, but blimey, where is it? Hang on. Just bear with.
Have a look at this. So this was in the old McDonald's.
Oh no, it won't let me do it either.
I think it's just terrified of it. We're not allowed to show.
Maybe it's just going to say if it's probably doing it for everyone's health and safety.
Let me delete something. See if that will allow me to do it.
What file format is it?
Only a JPEG. No, it just doesn't want to know.
Only a JPEG. Just doesn't like it. I don't know if it's gonna. Can you see it? Is it going?
We'll put it in the Facebook page.
Look there! Look at that! Look at that!
What on earth is that? Oh, that's horrifying.
That is just extraordinary.
Someone's taken a decision, put that on. Yep, that's fine. Not a problem with that. That's going to bring the punters in for miles.
I love it. God, love it. Right. Anyway, sorry, we completely derailed everything. We will get on to wargaming and terrain and stuff in a minute, but we're just having an old chinwag. 127 people listening to the rubbish. Anyway, there we go. Let's have a look who's in the chat, shall we? David Baker's here. Good evening from a hot Cheltenham tonight, painting 50mm samurai and Perry plastic Napoleonic Spanish. Good man. Bitsy is here from Poland. Hello, mate. It says the weather here is reasonably. It's actually reasonably for once. Okay, reasonable. I like that. That's sort of that'd be the sort of thing British would say. What's the weather? Reasonable. Okay. Lionart's here. Nick Dawson's here. Good evening, mate. What did he say? Weather? Asked Martin. Oh. Okay.
Oh, it's because he's in Bury. It's not nice. It's not nice.
Paul is here. He says, hello from Mercia, where the heat hangs cloying and damp under heavy skies. 1490 boon terrain for him tonight. There you go. We should collect Paul's wisdoms of the weather.
We really should.
Would really have a little thing. Andrew's here from Germany. He's doing 15 mil, 100 years walk, and Guten Tag, as they would say. Nick Games is here. Evening all from a hot Sweden, basing Napoleonics. David's here from Scotland. It probably is not hot in Scotland. Never is it? East Norfolk's here. Mobile on Hostel, hello, mate. Bicker City is here. Hello, Don. Evening all from an extremely warm Ohio. It's like Africa hot. Off work today, so sitting out on my balcony with a cigar and a cooler full of ice and the makings for gin and tonics. You make life sound so terrible, Don.
It's awful, isn't it?
Just awful. Rich is here. Old school FRP. Mark Riding is here. John Sowerby. Hello, mate. Back from the office and listening while I do some actual work. Oh, blimey. Don't want to do that. Crikey. Who else we got? Red Steph is here. Hello, mate. Carazette. Benjamin, Carl, Mike Schubert, David Benton, Joseph. Joseph is coming in from North Carolina, where it's very warm and sunny. Working on some terrain tonight. Lots of people doing terrain tonight. That's good. Making farm fields. Very good. David is here. Neil, hello. Steve Harbour, Jason, good evening. Daniel is here. Graham Prego, hello, Anthony. Andrew's here. Oh my goodness, it's jumping around. Barnes White is here. Hello, mate. Evening all. Finishing off some 15 mil Stratios. I can't say it. The light cavalry. Trevor's here. Nathan's here. Double dip. Oh, that's good. Simon. Real Steve is here.
Hey.
Good. We can continue. Fraser's here. Hello, Von Kettering. Hello, mate. How you doing? I don't think I've seen you on the stream very often, so welcome. Wargamer of Kent. Nosphere. Lazy Pirate. Robin's here. Louis Baby. Old School. I think we've done Old School. Philip. Didsbury Smog. I like that one. Evening all. Second time I've ever managed to catch the stream live, working on Epic ACW. Good man. Big Small Worlds, Camberwell Johnny, Dwarven Moustache Hobbying, Friends of General Haig, Alid's here. Hello, mate. What are you doing? You're painting 28mm 1812 Russians this evening while printing out 15mm Matilda tanks ready for the release of the new O Group Desert Supplement. Very nice. Ewok is here. Hello, good evening, mate. Andrew Smith. Volley Boy New Zealand is here. Hello, mate. If I could actually get my words out. Alex here. Hello, mate. Hobby War Games Hobby. He is sitting here painting a mounted goblin. I know, something different. Yeah. I might see that on Friday, might I, mate? I think. Yeah. Maybe. Who else we got here? I'm just scrolling through. Lots of good comments. I think I've got to everybody. If I haven't caught you, I'm really sorry. But welcome. Really pleased to have everyone here. Right. Let's have a look at what we've been working. Well, I know Martin won't have been working on anything, unless he did it all before he left. So, Steve, what have you been up to, mate?
Weird stuff.
Of course you have.
I'm cunningly shocked.
Yeah.
So last week I mentioned that I had an unexpected interest in second edition 40k.
You fell off the wagon, basically.
Well, yeah. Since that, that's all I've done last week was go through bits boxes, buy stuff off eBay, and get a few things.
Well, you won the lottery.
I was saying to Dom before I came on, it literally is a crapshoot on there. And I'm quite careful about what I've bought so far. It's turned out to be mostly good, which I'm quite chuffed about. But some of the stuff on there, it's just absolute toss. It's just really, really bad
and
stuff.
It's toss that they want a ridiculous amount of money for as well, isn't it?
And it normally looks like it's been painted in the dark with 7 layers of Humbrol enamels. It's just awful stuff. So that's what I've been doing. Anyway, so what have I been painting? Now this, this is a bit of a nostalgic moment. There's my rhino. So
I remember
I bought that 25 years ago. I think it's 25 years ago. Round about that. It's been fully restored. It's got bits missing, but I am so seeing that have a new lease of life has cheered me up no end. It's just such an iconic. Look at that. It's just so nice. And it's not Ultramarines either, before anyone points out. It's an undetermined chapter as of yet. It just happened. They just happened to be blue. So that was a lot of fun to put together. I didn't pay any money for that. That's been in my collection, like I say, for it must be 24, 25 years now.
Wow.
I think I bought that when I briefly dabbled with 3rd edition, which would have been 99, 98 onwards. So then I added, I was painting some up last year for 1-page rules, but I never got to play it. So I've been using what I've already painted to.
Why haven't you based it?
I know. Yeah. Check it out. It's not based and it's not weathered.
It's not finished.
It is finished.
No, it's not.
I'm not basing it. I'm not basing it, and I'm not weathering it. It's staying exactly like that.
You're a disgrace.
So then I added 2 Terminators with lightning claws to the ones already painted last year. So I've now got a squad of close assault Terminators. God, this is taking me back. This is just nostalgia. So they were a lot of fun to do. And then when I was going through I got bits boxes everywhere. I found a kit bash that I don't remember doing, and it was this. So I just got kit bashed a chaplain, and I don't remember doing it. It was just half painted in a bits box. So obviously, I would say I probably made that probably around 2008, 2009. I would say, but I don't know how. I don't know when. And there he is leading his a combat squad of assault marines.
Wow.
So it's been a strange week. That's all I've worked on is for old 2nd edition. They're not French. I've yet to decide. They're very similar to Ultramarines. They're blue. Free
Marine.
They are. So that's what I've been doing. So the figures I'm painting tonight are from 1997 and from 2000.
I was 13.
So yeah, I managed to. I was on eBay last week and I managed to get 2 scouts to finish off the metal scout box from 97. And I'm also painting a veteran sergeant from the command box that was released in 2000. So what I'm saying to myself is I want to put this army together, but I don't want anything. The older or the newish thing that I've got is a dreadnought that I bought in 2010. It was the first thing I painted after I broke both my arms. So that's why it always sticks out that it was in 2010 when I bought it. So that's the plan, is nothing older. Yes, it's a terrible affliction. Sleep kit bashing. It's awful. These strange.
You wake up in the morning with extra arms stuck on your forehead, and
it's just glue everywhere.
It's glue everywhere. Yeah, I know.
It's a horrible affliction. I wouldn't recommend it. So no, it's been really good. I've been tracking down bits and pieces to complete the actual core set. It's sometimes when a project just totally gets hold of you. That's all I've been doing all week, is trawling eBay, going through bits boxes, finding so much stuff. I had a delivery today from eBay, all the pieces to make a Devastator squad. This is from the early 2000s, the 3rd edition one. It's just the nostalgia. I've been reading old White Dwarfs. It's been brilliant. I've enjoyed myself so much this week. It's been really good.
Oh, good for you. And what's the aim of it? What are you going to do with them?
I love that. I'm really pleased for you. What's the point? It's essentially.
No, I'm not saying that exactly like that because heaven knows I collect things just for the sheer nostalgia.
I know.
Of them, but, you know,
And that just it's to play Warhammer 40,000 second edition. I got it for Christmas in 1993, and it's the game. It's probably the game I've played most in my sort of wargaming life. We between 93 and about 98, we played that game to absolute nothingness. It was just our game of choice for years and years and years. Demon's Lair. Ooh,
look at Demon's Lair. Okay.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, I've been looking for bits and pieces. Yeah, there's no handrails. I couldn't find them. And I'm pretty sure someone will be selling them on eBay, but I don't want to auction off one of my kidneys just to buy 2 plastic rails. There's bits missing off it, but it's just, I don't know. It's just the nostalgia. And like I said, second edition played such a big part in my sort of early wargaming years. It was the game that we all bought into. We all just played it for years and years and years. So the plan is to put 2 armies together and then get my mate over, and we're going to play 40k on a nice bright tabletop with lots of green and odd buildings. I'm even going to make some polystyrene ball cactuses or cacti.
Ooh,
which are a staple, yeah, with the blood red cocktail stick sticking out of it. So, yeah, it's been good, and I've really enjoyed it. That's going back as well.
Armageddon Steel Legion squad.
I wonder if Ken's got some of those because it wasn't Ken collecting the old Metal Guard regiment.
If you want it, Steve, I think I've got Dark Millennium kicking around somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, all the bits of Dark Millennium.
I'll give you some money for that.
A couple of weird beers will do. I think it's in the
survive the cull that we talked about last week.
Yeah, no, Martin. If you can dig that out, I'll be very, very, very interested in that.
I'm pretty sure it's in the shed.
Oh, brilliant! Cheers,
I'll go and have it. It definitely emerged when we moved house, and I don't think I threw it away.
Oh.
I'll double check. I'll be sad if I did.
No, I will definitely relieve you of that. Let me just make it that way.
Wargaming history says I purchased second edition in 91. I think had squats. Isn't that you don't need medical help for that? Penal Legion, Imperial Guards, or Sound Salamanders. I mean, that entire phrase has completely no idea what you're talking about whatsoever. Lots of interest in Steel Legion, though, by the people. So, there you go. David,
that's when they started making the metal Imperial Guard regiments, like the Catan Jungle Fighters, the
Howling Ice Guard.
They were really, really good.
I had the Rough Riders. They were always. I like the idea of guys on horseback with essentially RPGs on the end of their lances.
I always thought the horses must have had a bit of a. Yeah, that's great. There's an explosive about 4 feet away from my head.
In my ear, yeah.
That's my week and my current plans moving forward.
Fabulous. So what have you been up to, Martin, apart from holidaying? Anything?
I've done quite a lot, to be fair.
Have you?
Yeah. Well, let's see. So before I went away, I had worked on some more Normans and Saxons for pillage or anything really that requires Normans and Saxons. So I'd done these guys. Which were fun. So I'd added all these ones were extras that I'd added in. For just, I thought I could do some Saxon cavalry, but I thought no, I'm going to try and actually, be a bit do almost like a quintessential force because everyone associates the Normans with mounted chaps with kite shields. But I did sort of channel my inner steer bit, and I've kit bashed quite a few of the pieces for the mounted guys. So like the guy there with the sort of the crisscrossy shield, he's actually in a pose for the infantry. I just quite like the idea of it on horseback because he's hiding behind his shield. He's kind of poking his spear over the top. So I did those, and they were a lot of fun. It's a bit of a more of a close-up photo there, and then added more just more shield wall Saxons because you can't have enough. And I've essentially fitted out two, I wouldn't say basic warband, but two warbands worth if I'm playing pillage. There's certainly more than enough to play Saga with everything else that I've already got. If I add that to all of my Grip and Beast stuff, so there's quite a lot in there. And obviously, I could play the Conquest expansion for Baron's War. So I did those. Then before I went away, I had 2 games of pillage. Robin and Matt came round, and we had a whole evening of pillaging. Which I wanted to upload some photos for, but the StreamYard won't let me. So we played I played a game against Robin's Vikings, which was based on the scenario of the St. Bryce's Day Massacre. So the Saxons are coming for the Vikings. It was quite fun. Now we altered, because we can't leave anything alone, but we altered the scenario a little bit. But if you're playing the scenario as written, the Saxons just keep respawning. They just keep coming. They just keep going and keep going and keep going. And essentially the Vikings have to last 8 turns to survive. And the Saxons have got to get in there and burn the building in the middle of the board.
Here is he back again with his burning against it.
No, there's definitely a theme.
Martin.
There's a theme going on here.
What's this? I missed something. I've been away.
Burning.
All of your games tend to involve something getting set on fire.
Yeah. Every time.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, stuff gets set on fire. Then in the second game, I was playing against Matt's Normans, as he had to escort 3 priests with a relic across the board, but he didn't know which priest had the relic, and neither did I. So when you kill a priest, you've got to find out if they had the relic, and if they did, they drop it, and then there's sort of a mad scramble to pick up the bloody thing and then out of it. So it's really good fun. It's nice to get some games in. So those will be on the channel at some point. And then while I was away, I completed these 3 chaps. Yeah. So these are for the Baron's War. Now, I spent a good 12 hours doing research, because I wanted each of my knights to be actual knights, and because I'm sad. So these are 3 actual knights from King John's household. I've signed up to so many different research sites just to get information. I've got loads and loads of information now. So the guy on the left is Sir Ralph Gernon, or Ralph de Gernon, sorry. He was quite fun to paint. I did not freehand those. Those transfers were white originally, though, so I did have to paint them yellow while they were on the shield. So that's his coat of arms, and then doing the horsey blankets. I just kind of decided what, on patterns that I thought would look quite nice. So he funnily enough, he was born in Stansted, and he died in Bakewell, which wasn't very far from where I was staying. So that's cool. Then to lead them now, I've done these 3 specifically for a reason. This is John de Russell, or Russell, maybe, I don't know. And he's had a very eventful life. This is I love this chap. He's awesome. Also, he has a very, very simple livery if you look at his shield. So it's very straightforward.
That would have been one I would have done, just based on the livery.
This guy is awesome. He got very involved on John's side. So these are all royalists, if you like. And he did a lot of sort of back and forth, a lot of grunt work for John, and he was one of his sort of administrators. He wasn't quite as vicious as the other one I did, Falk de Bet, but this guy was entrusted after John died to go to France to retrieve Henry III's sister Joan, and these three knights. Well, him and this chap here, John de Guernon, and another knight who I'm painting. They actually they do like a 3 knights go to rescue the princess and travel back, and they got ambushed and all sorts on the way back. So I feel like a scenario is happening. So that was him.
Scenario already made for you.
Yeah. And then so that's John de Russell, and this is William de Harcourt or Richard de Harcourt, because he died. William died halfway through the Barons' War, and then his son took over and has exactly the same coat of arms. So they can be father or son. So and I was really pleased with this one, the yellow. I was really chuffed with how this come out.
What base coat did you use for that?
So I based this after a white undercoat with the contrast paint Bad Moon Yellow, but then I painted over that almost entirely with AK's Volcanic Yellow. I thought if I do sort of like a contrast yellow base, and I won't have to do multiple ones. So I did that, and then I worked up the highlights by just adding Ice Yellow to the Volcanic Yellow, and just sort of worked out. But what I did for these, for all of the horsey blankets. Sorry,
you can tell you've been with your kids for a week.
The horsey blankets. I stippled all of the highlights until the very, very end, and the last highlight, like on this chap here on the blue, the very, very last one, I just did a very light edge highlight. So I found it was a bit. I thought it'd be more like doing soft edge camo, like on tanks. So I thought I'd do the same technique on these, because there's just big areas of blank flat space apart from the odd fold. So I thought if I do it that way, it won't look so weird. And I'm really pleased with the effect and how it's like on here, like how it's come out, and then a bit of weathering pigments along the bottom. I did consider, so this chap has got the 2 red stripes, and I sort of sat here umming and ahhing about whether or not to put the 2 red stripes on the horse, and then I thought, do you know what? I'm so pleased with how that yellow's come out. I'm gonna not.
You don't want to ruin it. Yeah,
you don't want to sully it.
But I tried to keep the comparisons kind of simple, kind of rough, similar sort of to their livery. So there's hints of it in there. So you've got the blue and the red there. This chap here, you've got I did the red at the top and the white at the bottom, and in this one I just did majority yellow. And I've tried to give it some kind of similarity, but I've loved painting these. I've been working on some crossbowmen as well, but yeah, the 3 of these 3 knights, 3 knights from England. But the guy in yellow didn't go to do this sort of mission in France, but yeah, it's a really, really nice set. These horses I think are my favorite ones to put together, because I love that the reins are a separate piece. I think that's brilliant, and the way it plugs together. I know some people seem to have been really kind of confused about it. I don't know why, but yeah, they're I was really pleased with those. So yeah, there we go. That's what I've been doing. Lots of medieval stuff, just each period separated by about 200 years. Yeah, nice. There you go. Yeah,
very nice.
These are those.
Lots of people doing research on this. So Dwarven Mustache says he's been researching stuff for his area. Really excited.
I've been seeing is because he's getting into the Wars of the Roses in a big way at the minute. So I've been watching. With what I'm watching with interest to see which way he falls. Although I have seen some posts online, not from Dwarven Mustache, but from some other people where someone was asking for. Do you know what? Actually, I'm just not even going to go into it. Don, what you been up to? What you been doing, Tom?
I thought you were about to go on a rant. Hang on.
No, I was, but I've had a lovely time, so I'm going to. What are you up
to? Paul says he's going to be known as John
McGurn. Yeah.
John McGurner.
John McGurner.
Wow, he's a rat.
The horse harness for him to go instead of as his emblem. I'm very pleased you've done lots of research into that, mate. Because are you free tomorrow? I've got some questions.
Well, if you go, I have a 400-page volume turning up, which I've paid a little bit of money for from a university, Cambridge University press to print. So
you are a madman, absolutely madman.
I know, but
Before we know it, he'd have done some company that's one to one scale where they're all armed with 15 longbow and all broken and a blunt arrow and God knows what else.
Yeah.
That'll be
excellent. That sounds like a good plan.
Geez. What have I been up to? So it's sort of been mix-ish, really. So I launched into some more crossbowmen for the Italian Wars. Small unit.
Oh, very colourful, Dom. Very
colourful again. Yeah. I think I might be getting too colourful with some of them, but there you go. I think you can't be too colourful with Italian Wars, is my view.
No.
So I got some of those Perry metal heads that you can put on the figures. So they're the Italian Wars, Italian heads. So on top, which is cool. And also I had a play with some heavy cavalry. So these are the Wargames Atlantic Conquistadors, just the normal heavy cavalry.
Okay.
And because they're the right period for the Italian Wars, if you pick the helmets that are more or less the sort of Marillion, whatever they're called, those are Spanish helmets, they're a bit less than those. If you pick the other helmets, which come in the set actually, and then I put a few Perrys on as well, a little bit of, and also I bought some extra plumes from just their 3D resin jobs. Probably could have printed them, but to be honest, I'd probably lose them in the VAT. So I got them. They were a few pence, so I got them sent over, and they're so I'm sticking them because apparently I was reading about Italian Wars cavalry, and they said pretty much anything goes as long as you got lots of plumes. So, there you go.
Yeah, I've been reading quite a lot about it as well. That seems a fair
assumption, doesn't it?
Although you Dom made me look at things, and that's sensitive, doesn't it? So I had thought about Maximilian, right, and I was dead set on Maximilian, and then because I didn't realise quite how invested the English were in certain parts of it, and how the actions that they did actually take a fair amount of put a lot of troops into. And I'm sitting there going, I could get all those dollies from Steel Fist and do a quasi Tudor Imperial force, and that would be really cool, and that could be fun. But then that inevitably leads to madness, essentially. But they're lovely. They really are nice.
I quite like them, I have to say that. And the more and more I deal with make models, you know how much I love making kits, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I tune into you just to see you, just to see you swear.
But I have to say, I love the Wargames Atlantic ones. They all go together so well. Those cavalry are fantastic. So I bought the other box, the heavier ones, to have a go at next. So really, really like them.
But you got those Warlord ones coming. Are you gonna?
I didn't buy the Warlord one. Somehow they just kept deleting out of my basket. I don't know why. Probably because they're crap. Probably why. So also the other projects.
Don't hold back there, Dom. Tell us how you really feel.
Sorry, did that come out? I didn't mean it to actually. It's in my head. Sort of popped out. Must be that half a beer I've had. The other thing, I was doing some buildings. Again, given it's terrainy sort of talk tonight. So these are some Japanese buildings that
lovely
to the table. So those are just sort of peasant ones that I tried to paint sort of black in between the bars, but it just looked such a pig's ear. In the end, I just did them brown. And from a distance, they'll look fine. So they're the sort of peasant mountain villages, I think, from Japan, and then some slightly more civilized ones. So I think it's not far off some Japanese samurai type battles coming. So I'm looking forward to that. So so that's what I've been up to. Not masses, but quite fun. I've enjoyed it all. I have been completely obsessed with the two things at the moment. I'm completely obsessed with is Italian Wars and Samurai. You remember those samurai that I said I'd never paint, Steve?
Oh, you remember you said I'll never paint 28mm samurai.
That's what I said.
I distinctly remember, and then I think it was about 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
you'd painted about 400 of them.
It wasn't quite 400; it was about 40, but still, yeah. And I didn't really know what I was going to use them for, and because I just don't know why, I just felt like doing them, and they were all right actually. And I found them all again I knew where they were; they're up there on the shelf, but I dug them all out, and I've just been stripping them off their bases because they're all individually based and sort of mass spacing them again. So it doesn't quite equate to a recycling project yet because I haven't really done much to them. I might just give a couple of them a touch up, but suddenly I've realized with some other figures I'd already got, I'm actually not far off doing a Japanese battle. So yeah, quite looking forward to that because
awesome.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
that might actually beat the Italian Wars to the table, which is very strange.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Let's see. Oh, crikey! There's so many comments going on. I think everyone's very interested in your knights there, Martin. That's all I'm going to say. Lots to talk about.
I've got two more stuck together. Well, together to decide who they're going to be. The main thing came because I didn't want to, because everyone does flags and heraldry for like the main barons or the main bastards that follow John, but there wasn't much about everyone else, and so I started like doing it that way. I was like, well, no, there's hundreds of knights, so we might, there's no need for me to have to make anything up. So yeah, they'll be in there, and I'll there'll be a video on those and the research and that when I can get the time to do it. So nice. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Cool. Well, I'm that's another thing I want to start on is even though I've got loads of Baron War figures, I bought that box set a while back, so because I actually really enjoyed making the models. I've been making some models up like you were, Martin, following the guide, the red and blue list. So I'm working my way through those. So I'm just looking for inspiration on commanders for that.
Yeah. I've kind of gone the route of I did the one list. I was going to build the second list. Now I just thought sod it, and now I'm just building whatever the hell I want to add to do it. And just being a bit.
I think I'll do the same, but I thought I'd start with
I've got a 500 point sort of base, if you like, and now I can sort of add units in, but because I'm doing them as sort of very few of them are ever in any kind of strict livery for that period anyway. I could create two forces, and then my idea being that I've done a commander one for the period, someone who was quite well known in that Forster Burr. And now any of these knights could be a lower commander, lower level commander, because I got them. That was my thinking, was that I can use any of these as a commander, like promote one and then use the others just as knights. That was my idea anyway. So no, it's good fun. I've got a lot of tabs open on my phone. I don't know if you do this. I find research like shit. I don't save the page. I'm just going to leave this tab and open a new tab, and the next thing I've got 42 tabs open on my phone. I think at the moment, if I go on here at the minute, I've got 36 tabs open on my phone at the moment. However, if I go I have 167 inactive ones.
Jeez, wow.
On Chrome. Which is, and most of it's all just like where I've seen like a picture of like Graham, one of Graham Turner's pictures, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll remember to download that, so I'll just leave this open, and for some reason I just leave it. No, I'm scared. I'm scared to like remove it.
Oh my god. Wargames History said he's researching nobles at the moment for his armies, and he said he sent 60 nobles to Samir to make transfers for the Wargames Atlantic.
Oh, nice. Yeah, his transfer, Samir's transfer. If you need transfers doing or flags, then he's your man. Although he has just set up his heraldic studio, which is he's doing transfers himself now. So I think at the moment he's doing. I think he's done the whole of the order of battle for all of the nobles who are present at Cressy for the French. So he's just released a set of all. I mean, they are amazing, and he tools them to fit Claymore or Reconquer.
Wow.
But he's the guy who's done my custom flags for the Water Roses that I've had done.
Can you put a link in the Facebook page? Because I'm sure a lot of people will be very interested in that.
Yeah, we just go to Herat. Yeah. I'll find it. He's not doing as much custom work at the moment because he's set up his business to sell the stuff. But yeah, he's go and show him support and follow the page. I'll find a link now and post it in the chat actually. And
perfect, good stuff. Yeah, awesome, really good. So lots of interesting stuff going on. Really, really good. What's people going on? What are you saying, Rich? Well, I suppose Dom Samurai could have been huddled in the safety of the pseudo silk kimono.
I don't know what's
the ones
going
I
on
painted
there.
previously. Yeah, maybe. I mean,
there's a mental image right there.
Anyway, right. Enough of that frivolity. Excellent stuff. Really good. I didn't think you were going to be as busy as you've been, Martin, so I'm impressed. Well done.
I'm flattered, I guess.
Yeah, well, just, because you're on holiday. I know what it's like when you're
I'm
holiday.
on holiday, so I got things done.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
I didn't check my phone. I took one message from work. I got back today, and even though I wasn't working today, I've done a few phone calls. Make myself a bit happier. There are no fires to put out. They've been put out. There were fires, but they've been put out, but not by me, which was great.
Nice.
Okay. Right.
That's very relaxing.
I've just posted the link in the chat for the
cool. Well done. Thank you.
To the Facebook page for Outlook Studio. So yeah, if you follow that, then that should come up hopefully.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's get on to tonight's topic, shall we? So I thought we'd have as I said at the beginning, I sort of started this with in mind of thinking about terrain features that we regularly use in our battles and sort of our go-to bits of terrain that we love to grab. But I thought we'd probably widen it out to a bit wider talk about terrain and how you use it and what you use and so forth, because I'm fascinated by the visual impact of terrain. I think we all agree that if you make a table that looks beautiful and then you stick lovely figures on it, it just looks fantastic. So, but not everybody can do that. It can, has the resources, time, whatever to do it. So it's, what kind of shortcuts people take as well would be really interesting. The old books under the mat kind of thing is a good favorite for showing off hills without necessarily having to invest in ridiculously expensive ones. So there were a couple of really good comments in the chat, in the Facebook page, which I thought I'd start off with. So to get us going. So John Salby said, he said he's still got a soft spot for the GW plastic hill set.
Oh God, that's going back, isn't it?
That's quite retro.
I have the opposite. I hate those hills. I hate them. They you could never get your unit to stand on the bloody. You can never get you'd have like some of them up here and then be like a cliff. I memories. I used them a lot.
Slide down the front, isn't it?
Yeah. Use them a lot. And you talk about the one because there were two different sets. There was the one that had 3 hills, which was like one like that was just sort of like this random sort of plinth in the middle of the battlefield. There was like a little one and a medium one and a big one. And then there was the hill set, which was 2 that you could lock together, and you either had like you could use it and have one that was probably about 2.5 foot long, and you would have at the edge of the board, or you could then clip it the other way, and it would sort of be much thinner and slow. That one wasn't too bad actually. That one wasn't too bad, but the one I remember buying, you'd have like a. I remember it. I remember it fondly from that perspective. But, yeah,
I remember the hills we had at the club back in the 90s were one of the guys that came to the club. He worked in I think it was like a furniture DIY place.
Mm-hmm.
But he used to use the wood cutting machine. And he used to use get off cuts and make like strange shaped hills for us. It was really good. You'd either pop them under the mat. They look brilliant. It's a really good way. Or you could have, if we were playing Space Marine, we'd put them on top because we didn't normally have to put a lot of things on. But yeah, that's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, I remember doing that as well with bits of MDF and that sort of thing, and just sort of cutting around them just to sort of have, and then you could put 2 or 3 on top to have a steeper hill, which was kind of fun.
It's deleted the link from my comment.
Oh, really? Because it thinks you're scamming.
I think some spam, so it's deleted. It's left the text that said, "Here's the link," and deleted the link.
Yeah.
All right, I'll find a way around that. Sorry.
You are so dodgy. I mean,
that's new because that must be new because we've posted links hundreds of times in the chat.
Yeah. God, how bizarre.
1984 is real.
It's definitely taking over. Here's the link. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, Steve says that GW set was re-released for the old world, or was released for the old world. There you go. I don't know. Of course it was. Don't know anything about that at all myself. But there was, I mean, the only trouble with those old plasticky kind of hills was if you put them on top of your mat or on your table or whatever. I think I used the Subutio mat back in the day. The figures would just slide off them. Mind you, they have the same problem now. Whenever why is it whenever it's like why does your toaster land butter side down? Why is it whenever there's a battle and you put a steep hill up just because you haven't got the right size, the battle will always take place on that hill and everything will just slide off it? Why is that? Yep. It's just has to happen that way. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so that was good one.
Cheers, John. I'll do that. Sorry, I've just seen Joy. I'll do it in a comment after the stream.
Cool. Oh god, the plastic game boards littered with skulls, says David. Yeah. Andy says TSS used to do a big ridge line with foam hills. Nice. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Hills are one of those things. I think people are very wedded to them. I don't know. It's interesting. I quite like the ones that go on top of the mats, although visually they aren't as good. Going under the mat is far better.
Yeah, the best hill I own was that one that I bartered with Carl at CrackCom. Because I won a copy of Black Powder 2 and he had a nice hill on his game, so we traded. He got a nice rulebook and I got a lovely looking hill, so it worked out well for everybody.
Nathan, I know you've done this, well, not with rugby shirts, I don't think, Martin, but he says he puts rugby shirts under the battle mat, works really well for hills.
Yeah, I have a tendency to just dislike wargaming hills because they're too small. They're just too small. Hills are massive. If you think like the ridgeline at Waterloo, it drives me mental when you just see like these little plastic hill, like on the edge. Just chucks it. I use other mats as well. So the Geek Villain ones, I often have. So like they like this. They're just folded up like this, look, underneath. They're just like that underneath.
Yeah.
That's what I did for Edgecote. In fact, usually what I do is I'm doing a video on this at the end of the month because it's probably the most requested video. I must get like 2 or 3 comments every week about this and an email saying, how do you set it up? How do you do it? And so I'm going to do just the whole thing showing it being set up and all of that. But I usually have the board, like I set down the 2x4s, and then pretty much I build up the whole sort of landscape with t-shirts, tea towels, towels, and there's very little of the actual flat board left at that point. I usually just build it up that way, and then create the sort of the elevation and the contours with that, because even like where I had like a battlefield is meant to be fairly flat, I'll still put undulations in it, so there's still sort of, it looks more like a common or a moor, like the one where we did the game where we assaulted the village for the ECW game, which I created like a really steep hill and put the village on the top of it, and then everything else is meant to be fairly flat. I still chuck sort of just tea towels or just little bits of cloth underneath it. And the reason that cloth and tea towels are really good is because they're not rigid. It's because they're a little bit squidgy. You can kind of sculpt them. So when you're moving battalions, certainly for mass battle games anyway, when you've got a battalion on top, you should be able to fit like 2 or 3 battalions like on a hill.
Yeah,
at least if they're moving over the table, in my opinion. You say take the high ground. I want multiple units on it. Fair enough. You're going to get like small hills and small bits of elevation, but I just like creating the contours. So I spend probably more time doing that than anything else when I'm setting up my tables. Is working out where the high ground is going to be. And
so when you're doing those undulations on your table, do you count them as line, blocking line of sight, or do you only
if it's an actual hill, like if it's big enough to block line of sight, then yes. If it's just a little bit of sort of rough ground, then no. Just treat it as rough ground or whatever. But if it's a hill, that's why at the start of the games I'll say, like, so in Edgecut, we had 2 clearly defined areas of high ground, which kind of came down into a valley. And then so we said obviously that's uphill and downhill, and then the rest of this is just sort of open battlefield. So no, I don't count it as if it's just a little sort of blip, I don't count that as blocking line of sight. But I tried to make the hills sizable. If it's a hill, is a hill, then so like previous ones I've done where we had like a fort or something, you'll probably see like the forts quite high up on the hills. Then I've probably built that up with bits and bobs, and then put something fairly flat like a series of books, and then put that on there, but then used tea towels to create the slopes. That's what I tend to do.
Interesting. And Steve, when you're doing all your space weirdos and other things, hills don't seem to play much of that. It's all about height and buildings, isn't it?
If I play Space Weirdos, it's on a 2x2 board. So it's normally enclosed. And if I do Old West Weirdos, it's just those buildings from war bases. They are some of the best things I've ever bought because I didn't have to paint them, and they look fantastic. No, I've actually got a Geek Villain mat, and I've yet to use it on a 6x4 table. So I want to experiment with like say with t-shirts and putting things underneath it to make those hills. I've just not had the opportunity because I just play so many skirmish games.
Yeah,
I used it as an excuse with Haley to not throw away all my old metal shirts. I recycle them. So like in the last game where the Yorkists were, I'm sitting there going a Slayer under that bit. But yeah, just grab them. Haley, sorry, I don't know if you I don't know if your other halves do this, but when our towels go at Haley, because it's one job, and I hate folding washing. I hate it. I'll do the washing up I don't care. I'll wash up all day rather than fold. I hate it. And she folds the towels into these really nice sort of even blocks, which if you want to build other things, they're very convenient because they're the same size and you can build them in blocks. Lovely building blocks. So underneath Edgecut, there was that. So yeah.
No, like I say, with that Geek Villain one, I'll be using it at some point. Because whenever we've done like say bolt action, any hills have always been pre-made hills. We just plonk on top of the tabletop. But no, I'm going to start experimenting with that. But with games on 2x2, I don't bother. They're always of either taking part inside an old West town or in some weird space station or underground thing. So it's not really a thing for me.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I tend hills are the one thing actually I need to properly get a grip on, and mainly because I keep thinking I'll stick them underneath the cloth, so it doesn't really matter. So I've got all these. God knows how long I've had them, but they're sort of polystyrene ones with sort of flock on them. But they're going a bit bald now. So they're sort of, kind of a bit pathetic, but they do the job. But what I have found is sometimes when I'm filming using them, when I hide them underneath, you can't actually see where the hill is. So sometimes I can't see where the hill is, even when I'm not filming. So it's just, that becomes a problem. Big Small World says, I've umpteen homemade hills that don't sit flat on a table. I wish someone had told me about Mod Podge years ago as gluing layers over foam board and cardboard without shrinkage as it dries. Yeah, you learn that. Yeah. They do. They warp like crazy. Or in Ken's case, they get eaten by mice and things, don't they? Can you put them in his head?
Yeah, Stalingrad board, it warped and then got eaten by rodents. Wasn't
a good look, even for Stalingrad.
No.
What else? We got David. David Benson put up quite a lengthy response, but basically to the effect that he scratch builds. Remember, he primarily plays 6mm. And he scratch builds everything. Oh, I can't talk tonight. Scratch builds everything I can: hills, roads, woodlands, rivers, etc., are all homemade. Even the clump foliage and the flock are self-made because he enjoys doing it that way. And that's if I did show a picture, let me just put up the picture if I can find it. No, I won't put the picture up because I can't find it. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think scale is an interesting thing, an interesting beast. Because I don't know about you chaps, but most of my terrain is 28mm or suitable for 28mm. So then when I'm playing 15mm, I'm very much more limited on what I can deploy or lay out. Oh, there we are. There you go. That's 6mm homemade. It's obviously got things underneath the cloth for the hills. There you go. Yeah.
The only 20mm or 15 or 20mm stuff I've got, in fact, I don't think I've got any 20mm stuff. The 15 is I bought a load of TT Combat buildings, just really basic buildings. They do a job, but I tend to find a lot of the 28mm stuff, so the trees, plowed fields, works well at 20. I've used most of my 28mm scenery to play bolt action 15mm, and then just use these TT Combat buildings just as buildings basically. But everything else, rivers, even the roads, because the roads I use in my games, they're acrylic. I bought them years and years and years ago. It must be 2017. I think I might have bought them, maybe even 2016. But they're really good. But I can use them as like for 15. They look like huge roads. For 28, like single roads. But again, they can jump between the two scales. It's just the buildings. I don't really have a lot of smaller scale buildings.
Yeah, I mean buildings are the problem with the scale for sure. Hills definitely you can reuse, as you say, roads and paths and even rivers, as long as they're not enormous and look like some kind of motorway system on a smaller scale map. But I think trees are one thing. I think you kind of need to have smaller ones, don't you? Because I mean, you can have some bloody big trees in the world, but
I think if I do 15mm bolt action, I use 28mm trees. It's a bit of artistic license and suspense of belief.
Yeah.
But for me, they just represent trees, a wooded area. But the ploughed fields that I use that are made from door mats years ago, they work perfectly fine at both scales. I'm happy with those.
Yeah, so I'm interested. So people who in the chat who play multiple scales, do you deliberately think about, that'll do for 15, 20, even 6mm as well as my 28, whatever it may be, or do you it's just a happy coincidence? Because I can't say I ever sort of necessarily go, that's perfect. It's just a bit like you say, Steve. I sort of pull something out of the box and go, that'll do. That just about just about fits in. Jack says Sounds like my hills are old TSS ones. Yeah. They sell static grass on the site to deal with the balding. That's effort, though, Jack. That means I'll just get some glue and stick some more flock on it. It'll be fine, won't it? Or just hide them under cloth. No, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
When I was at York last year, I almost bought a set of hills from Callistra. They were huge. I think they'd be ideal for putting under mats. But I really regret not getting those because they looked ideal. I might have a look at them again because they looked really, really good.
I feel like going under a cloth, the sort of old school pieces of wood or books piled on each other are perfect because they give you that stepping, particularly if you're doing mass battles, skirmishes, or, I think Martin's approach with and Nathan's as well, having cloth and what have you under, works really nicely too. But yeah, interesting. But what about road systems? I know when I go to the club, pretty much every battle we ever fight has the same roads, whatever scale we're playing. They're sort of those. I don't even know. I think you get them on eBay. Somebody sells them because they've got like felt on the back and a sort of white, speckledy brown, sort of plasticky top, and they come in long strips with the bends every so often. And we always use those because they're just there and it's easy. But here I've got some nicer ones that I use that I bought on, I think Fat Fred or someone on the eBay sells them, and they're really good, but they do wear out after a while. But Martin, you're big on, you're just a sprinkler, aren't you, with your roads? That's how you do them.
Yeah. I'm a big convert to just scatter material. Absolutely. I think because you can create whatever I want. I'm not stuck with the same roads and the same layer. I mean, you're right. I've still got my Last Valley ones. I've got those if I want to put them down. But to be honest, I find the scatter stuff quicker. It's quicker to tidy up. It's easier to store, and I can make loads of it for free. So I can just. So yeah, I do. Yeah, and I just changed. I use different scatter materials depending on what it is. My Crusader stuff, I've got a different one that I put down, and yeah, I just create I created a whole new tub. Although the tub I keep it in, I realise looks like a cremation urn that you get back. So it was something that Haley got a Christmas present, but this is full of it now. But I've sort of been mixing up the mixture a little bit and sort of what I use and all that. So it's I'm just sort of experimenting. So yeah, and then I can create paths and things as well, and areas of rough ground. I just sprinkle it here and there, and then whatever I've got left, if I've got some rocks, I like to sprinkle it around the bottom of the trees so I can denote like the full area of woodland or around rocks. Now I just like blending everything in, and also blending in terrain features like rivers and stuff and buildings. I like one of the things that I think that we struggle with as wargamers is where you have, for example, a rural area that changes into a built-up area.
Yeah.
Now because you use like a textured wallpaper, don't you? You've got for doing that, which is great. What I like to do with that, when you get to the edges, that's where I would start sprinkling stuff. So you've got that sort of transition to that, which has no effect on gaming whatsoever, but I like it. I like how it looks, and sprinkling stuff makes it really easy to do, and I can do anything for any scale with that.
That's the beauty.
Same
of
with
that.
bushes.
You can do any scale because you just make them slightly thinner.
Yeah, I don't. Apart from my buildings and my trees, everything I've got could pretty much be at any scale. And I did because I used a lot of it for the epic stuff. I was using the same lichen mix that we use, although I need to replace some of it now. On there to create bushes and foliage, and I just like sort of chucking it up in the air and throwing it down. Paul's talking. He says I've got actually. So what Paul's talking about is I have brushes, and little, like a little trowel, pointing trowel that I use, which I stole from work, just so I can create edges and tamp everything down. And then, but then also, Paul will tell you, because we played 2 games very, very quickly. And the other night, it takes no time to swap the battlefield around. You just brush it to the way you want it in. And at the end of it,
I was hoping you were going to tell us that you had some little handheld vacuum cleaner that sucks it all up.
No, I don't know. I don't have a... Where is it? Where is it? There it is. No, I don't. My dedicated cleanup tool. Oh, shit. Is that? That's my dedicated cleanup tool. That's my flocker. That's my dedicated cleanup tool. It works. It works. So, but yeah, one of the common questions is, is it a nightmare to clean up? It's like, not really, because I just sweep it all onto a piece of onto a newspaper and then just pour it back into the tub, and then I just take them out and shake it off outside, because it's all. It's all natural stuff anyway. If any excess is just out there, it's fine. There you go, it's done. Nice and easy. As long as the Hoover's on standby, just in case there's any accidents. And hey, doesn't get angry. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Valley Boy, I said Valley Boy early. Valley Boy says most important thing when building hills is make sure the slope angle allows figures to sit, not slide. Yeah. This is the thing. I mean, so again down the club, there's one particular hill, and it must be about that high, and every time we end up fighting over it. For some reason, we'll put it on the side, we'll put it somewhere because it's just too big, and the figures just slide straight down it. But it always ends up being a focal point. He also says neoprene is great for roads; they bend and can run uphill.
Oh yeah,
true. I think that's the sort of thing the roads I have here. But what I do find eventually they do start to wither and crumble, and you have to get new ones. That's what I found. I could make them, but I'm lazy. I'm more and more inclined to do what Martin does, and just go and get some dirt and gravel and stuff. Jack says self-adhesive vinyl floor tiles have been a revelation for you. Just generally, Jack, or was that just for gaming? Cut to size, peel off the paper, dip in sand, prime brown and grey, and go as detailed as you like. Bends really well. As well as going up hills.
That sounds really good, actually.
That's actually a really good idea. Really good idea. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Andy says he keeps putting roads in his battlefields. Keep thinking it looks bare without one. Yeah, that's definitely something I have in every battle. Don't know why.
Because roads, that's how they transport, how armies get there. Even if it's near the edge.
Not always, do they? And it doesn't necessarily have to be from one end of the board to the other. It could just be,
you can just have it over there. Yeah, you always just put one there. But there's usually a road fairly nearby each battlefield because, you've got to transport stuff. You've got to transport supplies. It's got, or having a town or something nearby, just having a few buildings near the edge of the battlefield isn't even if they're not going to play any part in the battlefield. We did one where we did that game in Midgard, and we just put a fort at the edge of the battlefield because it looked good.
Tim says for my hills I use wavy filled lightweight cardboard that comes free in many packages I receive in the house. Yeah.
That good to hear all the different ways people make roads.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I bought mine, then they were custom made, and it took a while to get it. But I think I saw them on I can't remember where I initially saw them. But I ordered them, and I think I got about 20 feet of it. Acrylic road. I mean, they come out. You got to paint them. I've had to paint and flock them. But I really, really like them.
Oh dear, John's getting excited. Latex is good for all sorts of things. He says, "Steady, John. Steady.
Don't post any links, John. Don't post any links.
I don't know about those." What about rivers? What's your feeling in rivers? About rivers and streams and that sort of thing?
Again, I'm funkying up. I bought a pre-made one years ago, and it was painted brown and blue, and it was just I didn't like it. So I've been painting it. I've been building the sides up with Vallejo mud, adding tuft, painting the the water a nice shade of greeny blue. And it's time consuming, but it's I'm of the opinion that if I can save time when it comes to making scenery, I will. Because I don't like it. I like building it, I like painting it, like anything like that. Which is why those war-based ones were godsend, because there's none of that. You just glue them together and you're sorted. But rivers, I've rarely ever used rivers in our game, although I want to, because I think they add a bit of a nice dimension to a game.
And Martin, I know you. Well, Robin is your river consultant, I know. But in terms of doing different, is it acceptable on your battlefield to have the same style of river for whatever your period or whatever front you're fighting on, or does it
river,
have to
yes,
be
bridge? No.
Right,
river,
okay.
Yes, bridge, no. Depending on the period. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter, does it? Really? But you can sort of play around with things a little bit, can't you? So yeah, I mean we had the river that Robin made for the Crusades, and he went and had a look at a lot of aerial photos of the river, so he get the shades right. So that was that was good. But yeah, I mean for the battle that we just had, that was a latex one that Robin found somewhere that I created a sort of a recess in the landscape for. Because one of my biggest annoyances, and it's something that you can't get away from, is rivers that are raised. It annoys me, and you can't get away from it. Because it's a thing. It's on the table, isn't it? Unless you're doing custom. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing is going to beat a custom built hand sculpted table with like recessed rivers and roads and all of that, beautifully painted and sculpted, but we've got to try and do what we can. I mean, rivers, my problem with rivers is a lot of the time rivers are that we put are actually more like streams. Rivers are big. Rivers are really big. So people go, I'm going to do a river crossing scenario, and then you look at the river and you're like, it's not really a river, is it? It's a puddle. But I have the Last Valley river boards, which are really good. It's just my bridges getting a bit knackered now. So I intend on using those. And he does those extra wide ones, doesn't he? Where you haven't actually got a bank. So you could create a huge one, or use it as the edge of just have it so part of your board is obviously just off the edge, which is pretty cool. But yeah,
I have that one that he did with which have trees and bushes and stuff down the banks, and it is very impressive. But it does get in the way of the figures.
Yes. I've been playing around with things. I was playing around. We had loads of acetate in the office, so I played around just using. I think I sent you some pictures actually. I got some acetate and just rolled it out, and then whacked a load of quick water effect on the top to create ripples, and was trying to just find fun ways to do that. I mean, that works pretty well. It's just that you'd have to get that down quite quickly because it sort of curls, so you need to get it down and then actually stick some sort of matter on top of it to stop it moving. So I might play around with that a little bit more. Maybe when I'm doing the sort of stuff set in the marshland of the fens, I'll actually put a layer of that down and then put the scatter material on it, so you get all the damp effect. And that's where you want like some decent lighting, because otherwise you need some kind of reflection on there so you can see what's going on.
I think rivers probably one of the hardest things to get right on the table, aren't they? They can, you see them on, I'm sure we've all done the same. You go to a show or something and see someone's video and they've got beautiful terrain, lovely figures, and then this almost fluorescent blue river running down them, and you just think it's such a shame. Simon says streams and river sections are my most reused terrain. 28 millimeter stream is perfect for a 6 millimeter river. Definitely not blue, though. Yeah. I think you're right, mate.
That's the thing, though. That bloody one that Robin did. He sent me so many photos of that pissing river, right, from all angles, and it was like it's like one of Steve's Marines. Even like up close, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so cool. And or if you go to like Lake Bled or something in Slovenia, you're like, yeah, this is great. And again, I suppose it does depend on what scale you're planning on playing at.
Very much so.
About how things are, but I think a river's good every now and then, isn't it? Ditches are really overlooked. Yeah, they are hugely. There are ditches next to nearly every single road. There are ditches. Most fields have ditches in them.
That's really odd, isn't it?
They're hard to create.
The last time I actually saw a game with ditches in it, actually, that's really, really interesting. How would you do them?
I would create a recess under the cloth. That's what I would do, and then just fill it with dirt. That's how I do it. It's essentially what I did for the stream. But yeah, ditches. But they, they're just, you have drainage ditches, defensive boundary ditches. I spend a lot of my life digging up ditches, so there is a vast array of ditches. When does a ditch become a gully?
Yeah, agreed. There are ditches,
but yeah, they're cool. I think it's because we abstract a lot, don't we? So we I don't know. You just assume that the road has a ditch next to it, that the hedge has a ditch next to it.
And it's also functionality, isn't it? Because it has to be playable.
Yeah.
If you've got a ditch where figures are falling into all the time,
exactly,
and you're trying to move down the road, it gets a right pain in the what's.
Yeah.
If you bring
I've always said it. If you put together a tabletop and it goes into sort of granular detail like a model railway setup, and you think, hey, that's all well and good, but you can't move your figures. There's nowhere to move. It's striking that balance between looking nice and being practical and playable.
Yeah,
that's why I quite like using the scatter stuff, because the models can just move over the top of it. It works quite well. If I wanted to note some hard ground, I can just chuck a load of scatter material down. There you go. There it is. I keep pretty much all of the offcuts of flock and that I have now, and it just all goes in one extra sort of bag that I either use for chucking on bases or create bushes. Bushes are one. You don't see bushes. You see hedges a lot. You see a lot of hedges. Usually next to it. Don't see bushes. Massive gorse bushes.
But then often they're just generally sort of represented as rough ground, whatever that means, aren't they?
Yeah, but you just don't see them as a piece of terrain, do you? I'm actually I'm making some out of the leftover horses because I've just redone all my trees.
What about rivers? I've just spilt some water all over my table, so keep talking. I just need some cloth.
I know for the bushes or the hedges that I've used, I've made out of that rubberized horsehair.
Yeah, that's what a whole load of it down here.
Yeah, it stinks to high heaven, but apart from that, it's really cool stuff. So all I did, this is when I was going through years ago, just making jungle scenery for Balls Action, and I wanted some multi-purpose ones that I could use in the jungle, but would also look okay in sort of other setups as well. They're quite basic, but I was planning to. You use that glue out of a can, and then you spray it on, and you drop all the flock over it.
Yeah.
First time I tried that, it shot out of that can like Spider-Man's web. And at the time I was working on it was a 37mm anti-tank gun for my Marines. It ruined it. The glue went all over it, and I was like, "You absolute total weapon." So I thought I can't be trusted with this stuff. So I just never bothered trying it. But yeah, it literally came out like this web of glue, just completely annihilated my desktop, ruined this anti-tank gun I was working on, went nowhere near where I actually aimed it. It was horrific.
Love it. Right. Cool. I love the idea. Ditches. That's going to be my New Year's resolution, even though we're in July, August, whatever we are. I'm going to do that. Right. I want to know. We're going to go and do some news because we're going through this. The program tonight is going by in a blur. So we'll do a bit of news next. While we're doing it, I know everyone's really interested in what we're going to spend money on next, but I want to know in the comments roughly how much time do you spend building your board, your table, your setup? Do you spend, is it just literally you whack it out on the table? Do you spend hours planning I know Martin, what he does. But do you spend hours on it? And does that depend on the game you're playing? Do you spend a lot more time with your skirmish games, for instance, than you do on your mass battle games? I'd love to know. Let's do a bit of news. Do we have to are we contractually obliged to do the video or do we not?
I don't know.
What have you seen, Martin?
Not a lot. A lot of it you do. So first of all, so that the next Reconquer design release for tribes is up, and he's in the early 15th century, nice and proper. So he's going to do. I think he said he's doing 12 of these to create like a not a regiment, but just like an infantry group. He did it before for the Crusades and that. But yeah, just some awesome poses. I mean, it's late 14th, early 15th for the armor. So no good for the Wars of the Roses, but very, very good for the 100 Years' War or anything else around about that period. Yeah, they're very cool. I like the mix of men at arms and knight, and then you got some more peasantry in there. I think that's very cool. Yeah, they're really nice. So he's got those coming out. You've posted about these, and I was curious. I'm going to put marks. I'm curious to see if what. So this is Weaves of War. These are the ready. Have you seen these, Steve?
I have seen them. Yes.
So these are the ready-made cloaks that you can essentially stick onto your models, and then you add some PVA or Mod Podge onto them, and then sort of stick them into the shape you want. It's a bit like some people make the actual flags that you can do it this way, but they do a whole range of them, don't they? There's a whole load of them.
Massive. It's about
and six of them. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm fascinated by them, if I'm honest. I have ordered some just to try out, so I'm going to be interested in how they turn out, because I have a nasty feeling that with my fantastic modelling skills, they're going to look like a complete dog's breakfast. I also wonder whether they're just a bit too materially for a wargaming figure, if you know what I mean. But I do like the fact, the video where the guy is showing how to attach them, they're not flappy. That makes sense. They're kind of quite firm, right. So you can then mold them a bit your own way. So I'm just really fascinated by them, whether they're a bit of a gimmick, or whether they'll actually be as easy as he makes it look to put them on the figure, or whether they're actually going to be a complete amazing thing. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I think anything that saves people time is a good thing. And they look. I really like them. I think they look really great, and they give a really unique feel to a miniature. You don't normally expect. I know you have like banners and flags and things, but you don't expect to see cloth cloaks on figures. I just think it's a really good dimension. I like them. I think they're really cool looking.
Go on then, Martin. What's the verdict?
All I can think of is Sylvanian families. That's all I can think of. I can't get it out. My kids have got them upstairs, and I'm just looking at. Now I'm looking at their Sylvanian families, going, what is that? What's in their set that I can nick? And I agree slightly here with Red Steph, but I think that they have a chance to look too different to the paint job.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Now, some people aren't going to give a toss about that, I think somebody you'll get them on there, but I think they just have they're so detailed, and you've got the weave and that, and then you've got some fabric underneath it, like these trousers, and there's no weave, there's no. Do you see what I just feel? I think that people are going to use them, and I think they're good. I think they look fine, and like Steve said, if it's going to save people time, you want to add cloaks, then go for it. I don't know if it's for me. I'll wait to see how you get on Dom. But in the meantime, I'm going to go up to Tessa and Robin's Sylvanian family set. I can genuinely, that's all I could think of when I saw them the first.
Now you say that, I can't unsee it. You're absolutely right. My kids are a bit older than yours, a lot older than yours. I barely remember Sylvanians, but even though they're still in the bloody loft because they're still
really, really expensive.
They also remind me of back in the day when you bought Star Wars figures, the Ewoks. They all had material things.
My Obi-Wan Kenobi has a cloak. Has the Jedi robes on him for that. But
he says they look like someone's cut out scraps and stuck them on, even with the most basic paint. It looks better. Yeah.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be a 50, and I think it's going to be one of those maybe you have to see in the flesh, and maybe people could start adding some washes and things like that too. But then does that defeat the point of that anyway? So that's that. And then there was some Age of Sigmar stuff that I saw, which actually tickled me a little bit. So this is the new spearhead for the Flesh Eater Courts, and I like these spearhead boxes. We talked about them before.
Yeah.
So this is the charnel. Or the charnel watch. So you've got the ghouls and the flappy ghouls, and then you've got the flappier ghoul down the bottom here. But they've released a new figure here. Now I'll tell Dom in a second what the thing is behind these. So this chap is High Falconer Thelgrin, and I quite liked this model. He's got a tactical tree. I really like.
Cool. That's brilliant.
So Dom, the whole thing behind these, the Flesh Eater Courts, right, is they are undead, and they're kind of an offshoot of the vampires and everything like that. But essentially, they think that they are like a knightly order, and that they are like a chivalric order. So they kind of organize themselves as such, but they're actually just bloodthirsty, horrible ghouls. But they actually have like a court, and so they think and they kind of behave and organize themselves in this way, but they're actually just insane flesh-eating monsters. I really like out of all of the stuff that I've seen for those, I just really like it. I just like the idea of these deluded monsters, because it kind of I don't know. And again, the spearhead box, you buy that, you paint it, and that's what you fight with, which I think is quite a cool way of doing things. But that's what I saw.
I've almost finished my spearhead box.
Oh yeah.
I bought the Maggot King of Nurgle. I've got this weird chap here with the big mouse, and I've got one more fly, and that's it. That's the entire box done. Yeah, really, really. It's like I said, a really nice way of you just buy the box and everything's in it, and that's it. You're good to go.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very sensible thing that they've done, because obviously, say what you will about GW. I mean, they turn more money than Marks and Spencer, and they do give their employees decent bonuses when they do turn their they turn profits all the time. But I think it was a clever thing to do. Everyone wants to collect a big army. You want to get into this product. Here's you could collect 10 armies by doing it here. Someone's put Sylvanian Wars instead of Sylvanian families.
It's the average D&D party, says John. They think they're doing good. In reality, they're just murdering hobos.
They're just Yeah, like I told you, my party started out. My party thought that they were when I was DMing for them for Pathfinder for nearly 6 years, our campaign, and they thought that they were Robin Hood, robbing the rich to feed them. But it was like the fucking Sopranos. It was ridiculous. They're essentially running protection rackets, and I was sending oh, we're being hunted by this bounty hunter. It's like, not a bounty hunter. It's the law. It's all the people that you've pissed off. They've clubbed together to hire essentially fantasy John Wick to come after you. Obviously, that wasn't even a thing then. But, oh dear. But yeah, Dom, what have you seen?
Do you think I didn't, Steph? I was trying to perfect my really interested face there.
I thought that might be the thing. Is like the idea of these slobbering monsters actually bowing.
I love the backstory. That's fantastic. Love that.
There's one of them who's actually got a wig like a judge, but it's intestines.
Okay.
Everyone needs a meat hat.
I'm not going there. Right. Let's have a look at some of the other stuff I saw. Eureka showed off some greens for some new World War II Soviet troops. Eureka is a company we don't really feature that often, but they do have some nice figures. So that's World War II. So you lot out there talking about World War II. Empress showed off some Romanians. Which that is a fantastic looking gun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Look at the gun. Look at the guy on the left.
Yeah,
awesome. And he's 28 mil or 20 mil.
28 mil. Yeah,
they're 28.
That's
awesome.
And there's some cavalry.
Nice.
I love the one on the right. He looks like he's really jolly, doesn't he? He's just out for a nice ride.
He's definitely happy.
He's a very happy chap. That's fantastic. Very happy chap. I love it. Still love it. And there's some others, support troops of various descriptions. Really nice. I like the sniper is fantastic, and the guy with binoculars is awesome.
I like seeing a sniper that's kneeling because everyone seems to sculpt them lying down, which I get, I understand, but that's a nice pose. Beautiful. It'd be quite nice to get one just in a sort of a generic lean, like standing but leaning pose, and you can lean him on anything that you have. That'd be quite fun.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. Some cavalry. I think these were still described as Romanians, but I don't know. They look more like Cossacks to me.
They look a bit Cossacky, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Anyway, they're available. And also, I think Mr. Hicks has been at work again. So these are some more
lovely
airborne
troops, and they look absolutely fantastic.
Can you imagine trying to stick those guns together?
I know. I thought
I'm getting flashbacks.
Absolutely fantastic. What else we got? There was actually quite a few other bits and bobs. So, where is it? What's it on? Oh, there it is. So our friends at Martin and I have crowed about Parabellum Miniatures and their 3D printed buildings. They've been doing some amazing stuff. So there is a whole load more of their village. So it's shop 3.
Nice. I quite like that one.
And there's shop 1.
You should actually probably say it's not actually. You should probably point out, because I got a comment, but it's not actually their buildings. They don't design them. They just print them. Dark Realms is actually the company that do these, because if you didn't want to buy from Parabellum, you can go and support Dark Realms on his Patreon. So he kicks them out monthly, and Parabellum are a printer, a bit like Graham is. Things like that. So, but their printing service is amazing, and what they, the stuff that they use, that filament is top quality, and I think they've got some kind of lead in with him with stuff. But yeah, the chap who runs Dark Realms is the designer.
Good point. They've also got some pirates.
That's mental. Look at that.
I mean, that's extraordinary.
I expect Carl or James to buy that for.
Oh yeah, Blood and Plunder. That's just written all over, isn't it? That's just.
I can see pirate weirdos being played at some point.
Yeah, amazing stuff. So I think that's everything I saw. I'm sure there was something else, but I know. Of course, how can I forget? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to say penance now. Blessed Perry's. Oh, they've got the these early. Well, these are the basically the French rebellion early on in the war against the royalists, isn't it? I think before the Napoleonic period. But anyway, there's there's a raft of these figures that just look amazing. I mean, these could be guerrillas. They could be any kind of, military type troops. Unbelievably good. So,
Carl has said that the Port Royal set for thingy is 300 quid, but if you use Dom's code or my code, it's 270.
Exactly. 10% off with our code. Just saying. And if you want to win a church,
we don't get any kickback. There's no kickback, actually.
No, we get nothing out of it.
John might be on a different deal.
No, I didn't negotiate anything either. No, no, it's just we're doing it for the love of our subscribers.
They
can
really
take advantage
nice
of those amazing buildings. I think that was everything I saw. They'd look like gorillas if all our sculpting Robin.
I thought he'd been fairly quiet for the stream. I thought
he has been really quiet tonight. Like he came in with a blinder there. Geez. Right. Let's move on. Let's get back to some terrain. So some of the other comments. Sugar, I've lost them now. Hang on. Talking about yourselves. Let's have a look at some of the. I asked people what they thought about how much time they spend on building or thinking about the terrain as opposed to the actual game and the figures and everything else. Our friend David Benton says to custom build an actual historical battlefield takes me hours, spent over a few weeks. I do the sculpted table thing, days of work spread over months. It's all good. That's all good. It's better than painting. There we go. Yeah. But he said actually the picture I showed wasn't actually of a map. That was actually sculpted terrain. So, which is kind of scary. Have you ever
I think that's all going to depend on the era that you're. I've done stuff like that previously.
And the scale.
Sorry?
And the scale, of course. It's easier to do
because David, fair enough. But he's going to say he's going to do the entire battlefield of Antietam or whatever. But so when we did the Battle of Edgecote, medieval battles are teeny compared to Napoleonic battles and ACW battles. They're a much smaller affair. So it's much easier to, and also most of the time they take place in the field just outside of town. So it's much easier to recreate. But I do spend a lot of time thinking about how I'm going to do it. And I'll have a lot of chats with Robin about how we're going to do it. But again, that's going to be dependent on era, isn't it? That you play. Gargamella is just.
Yeah, no, agreed. Kevin, and we've seen some of Kevin's work on the Facebook page, but he's done these amazing Japanese themed. And he said, I want to immerse myself as deeply as possible in a game, and terrain makes all the difference for me. I love building terrain almost as much as painting miniatures. 3D printing has made things infinitely easier in terms of terrain that used to be tough to find or build.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Let me pull up the other picture. There's that one as well. It's just, sorry, the picture's a bit blurry, but amazing stuff. I love that. I don't know. You spent a heck of a long time with your board for CrackCon, didn't you, Steve, with the Space Weirdos stuff?
Oh, the Necromunda stuff. Yeah, I don't normally like working on terrain, but when something grabs me, I will spend a lot of time on it. It's like earlier this year when I was doing that putting together. It's like a modern or near future sort of industrial complex, like a factory yard. I was buying toy cars and toy cranes and all the scatter I could find. But yeah, that one for Space Widows, I think I worked on that for about 2 months. It was dead easy to do. I like the scratch building to the sort of the scatter that I made for it as well. But I just love a 2x2 board rammed with scenery. I just think it looks brilliant. Ticks all my wargaming boxes.
All your boxes. For me, I love. So it depends. So if we're doing a refight or scenario or something, it's pretty much pre-designated what the terrain should look like, and so I don't tend to spend quite as much time on that, but still want it to look nice. But if I'm doing something just made up or a battle in here or what have you, I will spend a fair amount of time setting it up. And like you do, Martin, I know one of your bugbears, I think you already said, is roads that go nowhere or rivers that go nowhere, or there's no logical reason why that road is there. And I have the same problem. I did the same.
It's the same thing. I mean, I kind of, it sounds awful, like, but I do wish that wasn't like that in a way. I think I'd find life a bit easier. I just think, oh, here we go. Here's the sex bots, it's people. I don't ever like putting terrain down for the sake of it. It's got to make sense to me why something is there, especially again with hills and that and things like that. It's like I just like the hills to be and like the building to be, where a building would be. So sometimes, I end up arguing. It's like with the Barons' War. You've got this whole terrain. Basically every foot square there's meant to be one piece of terrain. And we were setting up the battlefield. I'm like, well, I don't want to put this thing there. No, why would they leave the forest there? They would chop it down. So I was like, no, it's going to be rough ground. It just kind of made it. So to me, a battlefield's got to make sense. That's a personal thing. I wish, but then I still find that very easy to throw stuff down and come up to the battlefield quite easily. At the end of the day, a few hills, some roads, and a forest don't even need any period-specific terrain at that point. And
is that what you would recommend? Because I'm sure lots of people, maybe people even watching here, or watching on the replay stuff, are sort of almost like, well, it's great, you've got boxes of terrain, I haven't got any of that. What would your go-to be if you're just going to, have a nice looking table?
Hills, roads. Maybe some walls, rubber walls, like from Last Valley, the £1 strip from Last Valley, or get the printed ones on eBay, like rubber stone walls, dry stone walls. They're pretty good. They're used pretty much throughout history, and get reused. So when you go up into Northumbria and you see all the dry stone walls, you're just looking at Hadrian's Wall, just redistributed over the landscape. So yes, stuff like that. I think is really straightforward. And then you can add in your farmhouse or your medieval house, whatever. But I think that's the easiest.
Because it doesn't have to cost an awful lot of money. And also, like your figures, you can build it up over time.
If you want to use a map, because I think I think the maps are great, like Geek Villa, what are they, 60 quid, right? So yes, that would be the biggest outlay. The dirt is free, just the energy to put it in the oven, and then the money to buy your wife some wine or whoever some wine to pay them off because you've used the oven, and then the trees, the armatures are probably the most useful. I don't know, you could probably get something reusable for, let's just say 28 mil, but multiple periods at 28 for 100 quid, easy. You could get a generic battlefield for that before adding anything period specific. That'd be quite a good challenge actually. Here's 100 quid, build a battlefield.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. Yeah, mind you, I have to say, safety tip: don't put your earth in the oven and leave it there for too long. It can cause a fire. Because it's amazing how many bits of wood and stuff are in your soil, as I might have done once. Mm.
Once,
get it
never again.
Yeah. It was not a good day. And explaining that to Elaine when she came home was an interesting discussion. You did what? Why? What did you put it in?
I was baking earth. Have you been too near the toilet duck?
Yeah, not my finest moment. Never mind. Right, there was one comment I wanted to go back to on the Facebook post. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, this was from Jonas. Let me put up the picture. Oh, crikey, where's it gone? I wish you could order things, but oh God, it's blurred again. He said, wherever he puts it on the table, it always seemed to end up fighting over this well in his bolt action games. Every game.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I uploaded a picture. You said, what do we always go for? The terrain we always. Whenever me and my mate Ian play any sort of jungle bolt action game, it's always set on the Kazi Trail. Always.
Cool.
And the reason for this is that
because we got a little Kazi.
So there's a little Kazi. So all of our jungle-based bolt action games are always fought over the Kazi Trail. And the amount of times when that has been the focal point of a firefighter, a close combat, people just gravitate towards it. It's the strangest thing. But yeah, the Kazi Trail, it's a running joke whenever we play bolt action.
Love it. I have it could be any period at all, but it's a cross on a rocky platform, and it works.
Oh, the one, yeah. I remember.
I remember the game we had, and you end up fighting over it every time, or it gets in the way every flipping time. It's just, I don't know why, but it always does. It's very funny. I'm sorry, I'm just on. No, not that one. Where's the picture gone? Oh God, I don't know where it's gone. Pictures disappear all the time on this system. I hate it.
I don't know what's going on with it at the minute.
It's been really crap.
Don't you mean media assets, not pictures?
Oh yes, sorry. That's what I meant. Of course, Steve. I'm going to show up this one because it made me chuckle as well. So, this was. Tony says he loves the GW walls and fences set. I had one for years that I used for D&D and war games. They finally re-released them, so I bought another set. Also, I have a piece of terrain in an ongoing D&D campaign that was a plastic rock. It turned up whenever the player had a campsite or an encounter involving an enemy. It was an ongoing gag about the tactical rock. I love it.
They're really cool.
Quite good, those fences, actually, aren't they? I quite like those. Yeah. Nice. Probably cost more than my army for the GW.
I've just seen James's comment about they are made by a company called World War Scenics. They do a jungle set, so you get a couple of buildings, a watchtower, a toilet. But I added the bits and pieces to it. Really nice MDF kits, painted really well.
Nice. Crack up. Blimey, something just went past making an awful lot of noise. Nick said, seen lovely games with great scenery and figures spoilt by a huge big disorder marker, etc. Just my hang up. Yeah, markers are an issue on some people, aren't they?
Yeah, that's why if I can, I'll try and use. I mean, for the battle, this is the thing. For the battle reports, I use counters because they show up on the.
Yeah, that's the thing
on the video. So I use the red wings, but if I in personal games or if we were playing, I just use casualties, disorder. I have handmade markers for those. But again, in battle reports, it's easier just to put a counter down in it, so people know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, when you're videoing, it does change some of the things you use because it doesn't show up otherwise. John says for skirmishes, it's just throw stuff on the table. For convention games, we build stuff to fit the idea of the scenario. At one point, this meant we built a cliff face that was over 2 foot tall. Wow. I think I'm the other way around. Not that I play an awful lot of skirmish games, but I almost spend more time on a skirmish table than I do on a big base.
Yeah, the last game of Space Waders I had with my mate, it was only a 2 foot by 2 foot board. It took us 20 minutes to set up. Yeah, because we couldn't decide. It needed to have a story behind it. It wasn't just plonked down. And we were trying to block off fire lanes and make it a bit. We could have set it up in about 2 minutes. It would have been easy, but no, it took 20 because we wanted it to look a specific way, to have that small style, quick firefight feel to it.
Yeah. Paul said, I've had to change my game for Crackong due to the time to build and paint the required scenery or terrain. On top of that, storing it proving to be a non-starter. Also, once built, how often would I use it? Yeah, I mean, that's a whole different topic, is storage of terrain and reuse of terrain. Definitely something, especially if you're doing, that's what's almost put me off doing purpose-built tables, because like he says, how often am I going to reuse them? I'd rather have something a bit more, not quite so beautiful or perfect, but the fact I can strip it all away and restart it again another time, personally, just because, storage is a nightmare for those big tables. Yes. Someone's spent hours and hours on them. Oh, blimey. Talk about yourself. Just realised I haven't loaded the pictures from the... I've been so busy loading up other pictures. Here we go. Right, we are almost at the end. So quickly, I'm going to do a quick run through some of the pictures that are up on the Facebook page. Reminder once again, if you're not on the Facebook page, why not? The link's down below. Just go there, read along. If you get lucky, one of these two will let you in. If you get unlucky, then you have to answer the 3 questions that I asked. Which is to try and stop spammers and 3D.
Just a question on that. We have noticed spam getting stopped. People, legitimate posts are getting stopped again. If you post something and it's not up within about 5 minutes, just drop one of us a message and we can release it. It's just there's no rhyme or reason to it or no pattern. It just seems to be blocking people's posts.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And just also, sorry, on that, if as well you've got some kind of like thing you want to promote or I don't know, like some kind of deal or shop or everything, just ask us first. If it's all right. He's already all up there in the rules and that, but there's been a couple of times now I've had to sort of back them down, just because it's not fair on the other people who have waited and have asked. So just follow Dom's rules and everything is fine.
Everything's all right. Yeah, we're just trying to keep the community so it's just there talking about toy soldiers and terrain and that kind of stuff. Right, let's have a look at some of the things. As I say, just some of the wonderful stuff that people have been showing off and games they've been playing. I love seeing the games. So I'm going to start with Paul's. I love this. This is his boar hunt base.
Very nice. Lovely.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Wargames Foundry figures. Really, really nice. Matt. Look at the detail on that. Oh my lordy.
Oh, jeez.
That gave me palpitations, just how good that is. Andrew, this was his Morcar of Northumberland.
Hey. Oh, nice.
And, which is just lovely. I think they're Gripping Beast figures, aren't they? Pretty sure I've got them somewhere. Really very nice indeed. Andrew was very excited with his Trench Crusade game that he was playing.
Very nice.
Although he said he thinks I think he said he tabled his mate playing it. But those are the breaks sometimes. Dogs of War. Talking about Dogs of War, this is John's Dogs of War 15mm figures.
Oh, cool.
They're amazing, dude. Isn't it extraordinary how good 15mm has become? Just the quality of the sculpt is just Yeah, extraordinary. Really, really good and beautifully painted. Lewis was talking about terrain this week. This was his laying out. He was sort of going through all his terrain that he had, what was there, and laid it all out to have a look at. I quite like that. I think that's really
been great. It's been great seeing his progress.
Yeah,
together. I love seeing when someone works on a project from like start to end. It's been really good. Like I say, seeing his build up. Top work, Lewis. Top work.
Really nice. Paul was getting all Lovecraft on us.
Of course he was.
That is extraordinary. Stephen was showing off his amazing Soldiers of Napoleon game. Just love that.
Love
column
that.
of Russians heading across the
I need
bridge.
to have another game.
Yeah.
I love that game.
And I love this game Silas showed. This was a black powder colonial Mardist battles against.
Nice.
And that's
lovely.
A really nice looking table. Really fun. Look at that. Very good indeed. And soft spot from my was Rob, and this is 1808 Swedish epic figures that he's sculpted, I think he said. Just brilliant. Really, really cool. And then finally, this is one for you lot, the weirdos out. This is Krista's. I mean,
absolutely.
Is that a tactical body down there? I think it might be.
He can use anything he wants as a tactical anything. Look at his sword.
Look at that. He doesn't look like somebody you want to meet on a dark night, that's for sure. So there you go. And that is time. In fact, we're over time now. So you're getting an extra minute, mind you. I think we were late starting. So thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Great little chat there about terrain. Love to hear what you're all up to. Next week, we will be over at Martin's.
Yes. Because we've only got and then it's bank holiday, isn't it? So it's so next week we're chatting hobby fulfillment and is it possible? So I'll put up a post about it. It's like, is there a point that we say yes? Like, is Donga turn? I'm done now. That'll do. Is it actually possible, or is and that's not, it's not to have a pop at anyone or for anything like that. It's just, is it possible? Is there a point where you say enough is enough and I'm done now?
French Napoleonic drummers.
I thought when I went to Gulliver's Kingdom, they had a toy museum and they had these hand painted Napoleonic figures from about 1960 in there. I took a picture of them and I was desperate to find a drum. Which I took a picture of, and I'll bring it to you because again, StreamYard hates it. But
what was it? Were they painted in 1960 or started in 1960 and just finished now?
Every generation as they passed on, they passed the figure down. All right, son, now you have to do the moustache.
But I don't want to paint drummers.
Awesome. Right. Well, have a really good week, everybody. Thanks for joining us as ever. And as I said, thank you for all the people watching on the catch up and on listening on Spotify. Thank you very much indeed. Check out all the channels down below. Do the likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. And we'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching.
See you later.
Stay well.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.